Alright, welcome back guys. This is Central Florida Prepper. Today we're going to be discussing the contents of bug out bags. What it should consist of. I have roughly 28 topics. And I did write them down so I won't forget. Now, like I've said in the past, I am currently working on revitalizing my bug out bag. There's some items in it that I felt were a little subpar, and while I'm in transition of changing things out, I'll make a video on that. But until then, let's get started on this. First thing I want to say, and now this, when it comes to bug out bags, is really the individual preference. Try things out that works good for you. Don't just build a bug out bag and run out in the woods with it when shit hits the fan. Take it out with the gear that you have and test it. Okay. Now I'm coming at you with experience as a freight train rider that carried a backpack. Now I had good gear. I carried a backpack for a year and a half riding freight. So I lived out of that backpack. Now I'm not talking about the homeless guy on the street corner with a knapsack. I'm talking about full gear, bug out bag type of gear. And I had to survive with it. Okay, so first things first. When I first started, I had a Alice pack, a very large Alice pack with an external frame. I like Alice packs, but as it turns out, I found out that they did not last as long as an internal frame pack. Quite frankly, I tossed my gear off of a moving freight train before I jumped off because I did not want to get in a certain yard in North Platte. That's where they train the railroad police. You get stuck in there, you're screwed. So I threw my pack off, and when it landed, it shattered the external frame. And then I was stuck with a busted up backpack. So I like an internal frame. Alright, number one will be water storage containers. Now, I do carry 2 smart water bottles. And the reason why I carry 2 is so I have a backup. But they work really well with the Sawyer Minis. They screw right on. The plastic's more durable than just using a soda bottle. We also carry, now this is just in my pack. My wife's pack's different, okay? The reason why is because we're traveling together. And some of the gear she carries is lighter. I carry the heavier things. We also carry a water storage, collapsible water storage container. This way, if we do find a water source, we can fill up water. One of the things I learned as a train rider is while you are walking, sometimes you'll go days without a water source nearby. Yeah. And I do understand water weighs a lot. I think a gallon of water is 8.8 pounds. Now, as a train rider, I drank 2 gallons of water a day easy. Now, usually what I did is I took 2-gallon jugs, tied a rope to it, slung it over my shoulder. Gallon up front, gallon up back. Now, this is kind of difficult if you are at the ready with a rifle. I do understand that. But I also know water is hard to come across. Okay? So, carry extra containers. They don't have to be full right off the bat. But having ways to collect water is going to be very necessary. Next one up is water filtration, purification. Of course, I like the Sawyer Mini. Use whatever you like to. I know some people like the Life Straws. For the money and the purification amount of gallons, I like the Sawyer Mini. We also carry the little water treatment tablets. It's just quick, easy to drop it in, treat your water while you're still walking. Next up is first aid kits. Now, I'm not talking about just the little kit you go buy at the store. Alright? You can buy a kit at the store, but take it apart. Put relevant items for first aid in there. One of the biggest items I will recommend is Imodium AD. You do not want a upset stomach out in the woods, okay? Besides just dehydration purposes alone, I mean, you don't want to be squatting behind a bush every 20 minutes. Another thing is salt tablets. We use the salt tablets in my job trade all the time, alright? Your body is going to be going through electrolytes. Your body's going to be, you need salt in your body. Another item that most people forget about is dental repair. Hey, I dove off a freight train and fractured my jaw. That sucked. Now, Orajel wasn't going to fix that, but Orajel did help with the trauma I took when I shattered a wisdom tooth from that fall. Alright, next up, toilet paper. Wet wipes, or even those little toilet paper tablets. You need something to wipe your rear end with, okay? You can take the center out of a toilet paper roll, a little cardboard tube, flatten them out, compress them. You know, you can even vacuum seal and make them flatter just to save room in your pack. Another item is timepiece, a watch. Having a sense of time when you're out there, and not just in the woods. Just walking, knowing what time of night it is, how soon will the sun rise, things like that. You make better plans when you have a piece of equipment that tells you what time it is. Alright, next up, lighting. Headlamps are great. You can just use your regular flashlights, but having a headlamp gives you two hands. Number 7 is cookware. I like the little small mess kits. I have a mess kit from, I believe I got it from Walmart. It wasn't much, $5, something like that. Now it is made out of aluminum. I know some people don't like aluminum, but it's lightweight. I like it. Number 8 is a cooking stove. Now the reason why I say cooking stove, I know most people say, well, I just start a fire. I don't like, if I'm trying to be low key, I don't want a fire burning. And let's say that you are still in an urban environment and you have to boil water. It's easier just to have a cooking stove than trying to break furniture apart to start a fire. And they make many different lightweight ones. You know, test them out, see what you like. Next up, number 9 is fire making equipment. That is lighters, matches, flint, magnesium sticks, ferro rods. Have multiple ways of making fire. I like having 3. That way, one of them's going to work. And if all else fails, use a flare. Number 10, shelters. That can be anything from small tents, tarps. Now, I like the camouflage tents and tarps. The reason why, if I am bugging out, I do not want to draw attention to myself out in the woods. These tents and things that you usually buy at Walmart are always bright in color. I believe the meaning for this is so that it's easier for people to search and rescue. They can find you easier. So when I'm trying to stay low key and I'm having to travel through the woods and set up camp, I don't want a bright orange tent or a bright blue tarp. But that's my preference. The reason I do like a small tent is having a sealed structure around you makes you sleep a lot better at night. Just using the tarp, and I've done survival camping most of my life. And I'll tell you, one of the most irritating things is you're sitting there asleep and all of a sudden you got something crawling all up underneath your pant leg. It's just nicer to be able to seal everything up and actually get rest. 11, cordage. Alright, I know many like the 550 paracords. Those are fine, as long as you got rope. As far as cordage goes, I would carry about 100 feet. it's really not that much in your pack as far as room wise. Now we do have a thicker coil that I do keep in my pack as a 1/2 inch thick rope. That is just in case I have to climb something. Used to do a lot of rock climbing when I was younger. I like having a good static line. I know static line is not designed for climbing, it's more for rappelling, but if I'm having to climb something and pull my gear up, I want a thicker rope then instead of just paracord. So that's why I like the thicker rope too. Alright, number 12, clothing. In a year and a half of train riding, I only had one extra change of clothes. Okay? I didn't walk around with a wardrobe. When it came to washing my clothes, I put on my other pair of clothes while I washed those. Did I wear my clothes for several days? Yes, I did. It didn't hurt me. Gloves. A good pair of leather gloves goes a long way. I'm not talking about walking around with welding gloves because there's no dexterity in the fingers. A good pair of leather gloves. Definitely recommended. Rain gear. You want a very nice poncho. You don't have to have the whole slicker set with the bottoms and all that stuff. I mean, if you want to carry all that, you can. We just do ponchos. And a hat. I like the old boonie hats. They protect the back of my neck, front of my face. My wife is Scottish. I've got a lot of Irish in me. We burn very easily. Next up, 13 is sleeping bags and a bedroll. When I was younger, I'd sleep right on the ground. No problem. I'm 40. I hurt sleeping on the ground. I hurt sleeping on my mattress here at the house. So they do have those little foam roll-up mats. Makes a world of difference. I have seen some that are air mattress, but they're small enough for just a person to be on. That's up to you. Every time I've ever took anything out in the woods that is an air mattress product, has always tore up. I always sprung a leak in it somehow. So I don't use those. 14, tools. When I mean tools, I don't mean walking around with a ratchet set. A lightweight hatchet. They make some really lightweight hatchets that work really well. Full tang knife. A knife sharpener. Personally, I like a stone. I know there's all kind of different sharpeners out there. That's on you on what type of knife you want to use, on what type of sharpener you want to use. Collapsible saws are great. We have 2. And multi-tools. I love having a multi-tool. Now, we do not have the Leatherman. I wish I did have the Leatherman. I will say Leatherman multi-tools are practically the best. I love them. They're just expensive. For firearms, for people that plan to be carrying firearms, and I fully recommend that you have a firearm when shit hits the fan. Make sure you carry extra ammo. Make sure your magazines, your clips are loaded with ammo. Carry an extra box of ammo on top of that. Now that is a lot of weight, I understand, but you're going to need it. Also with firearms, you want to keep a cleaning kit. A lot of people forget to pack a cleaning kit with the solvents that they need. If you're going to be firing that thing, you want to be able to clean it too. Number 15, breaching tools. I know, now we're getting a topic. That includes flat crowbars, the real lightweight, bolt cutters. You can get the small ones. You don't have to get the real big suckers. Hacksaw blades. Not a full hacksaw, just the blades. And nails. Now the reason why, as a train rider, I've had to get out of the weather in the city. I was in Rock Springs, Wyoming. It got cold quick. I mean, I would have froze to death. Cracking a abandoned building to hide myself in from the weather, and being able to nail those doors shut. That way I knew no one was going to be coming in on me while I was resting. because when you are exposed to the elements and you finally get somewhere nice and safe, somewhat warm to fall asleep, you're sleeping hard. You're not, I know people say, well, I'm a light sleeper. You do a hard hump and sit there and walk 12 miles, full gear, and you finally get to rest, you're going to be snoring. Number 16, bug spray and sunscreen. Both are items everybody should carry. Even if you don't burn very much, you're now being exposed to the sun more and more than what you usually are. Now, if you are a professional landscaper and you're out in the sun 14 hours a day, you probably won't need it, but I recommend it. 17 is an item that you can and don't, or you don't have to put in your bag. It's snare wire and small game traps. Personally, my bug out bag is only to get me to a location that's 4 days away from where I'm at right now. At that location, I've got better supplies and better setup. I'm really not going to be doing any trapping or game hunting in that process. But something could happen and I might need snare wire. You never know, just always be prepared. Number 18, gas masks, dust masks. We keep our gas masks in our get home bag, which we will be snatching up if we got to leave house and go bug out. The reason why gas masks, let's say that you are having to go through a city and there is unrest going on. Instead of, personally, I'd skirt around the city, but let's say you're stuck in it and there's pepper spray, tear gas, whatever. Nice to have a mask. They really don't weigh much. Number 19 is comms, communication. Now this really depends on your group size. Our group is pretty large, and if we are bugging out, we will be carrying our comms. If it's just yourself, there's really no reason to have a walkie-talkie with you. You should have that at your bug out location, not be carried with you. What are you going to do, talk to yourself? Oh man, that was a hard climb. Yeah, well, it sure was. Alright, I'll just go ahead and put that in your bug out location. I won't be carrying it with you. Number 20, Gorilla Tape. Love duct tape, but freaking Gorilla Tape's amazing. It can be used for freaking anything. 21, maps. Now I always recommend local maps. Like I've said in the past videos, we started printing off our Google Maps of our area up to a certain mileage range. Maps are great to have. Having a compass and knowing how to use that compass. GPS, you can put in your bag. It just depends on what the scenario is. I mean, if it's a EMP or a CME, GPS ain't going to help you worth squat. So, having a compass. And, you know, even a compass can be compromised. You know, I mean, magnetic field gets shifting really bad. It's going to throw that off too, but just keep it with you. Number 22, binoculars. Having a way to see what's ahead of you. If you see something sketchy, you can sit down and scope it out for a while. See if anything moves. I don't know how many times I watched train yards for days trying to figure out what train is what, where's it heading, how often things are moving, where's the bull. Yeah, so having surveillance equipment. If you have night vision, even better. Being able to move at night is going to be a huge plus for you. But I know those things are expensive. Number 23, caffeine. Coffee. Having instant coffee. I'm a coffee drinker, so yes, we do pack coffee. Even caffeine tablets. There are perks of having caffeine tablets, but also remember, if you take an upper, you will eventually crash some point in time. So that's up to you. We keep a small amount of caffeine tablets. Food. I don't know why people do not pack enough food in their bug out bags. There's many different ways. Now, you've seen that I have the emergency ration bars, and I'm checking on some new ones too. But we also carry these Market Street Classic beef stews. Alright, these are in Mylar. These are very good. Now, we can eat this straight out of the pack if we want to. Has 3 servings. Each serving is 210 calories. 26 gram carbohydrates. You want decent food when you're traveling. I see a lot of people with trail mix. You know, if I was going for a little hike on a nice pea gravel path at a state park, yeah, trail mix would be, you know, a nice little thing to munch on. It's not survival food. You need food. When you are walking with this gear, my pack right now weighs 47 pounds. Now, can I carry it right now? No. The way my shoulder, my knee is right now, I can't. Our go bag, our get home bag weighs 17 pounds. The reason why it only weighs 17 pounds is so my wife can walk with it. And that's mostly water weight in that. That is with 2 smart water bottles filled with water at 47 pounds. Before I got hurt, no problem. When I was a train rider, I carried 70 pounds. I carried a lot of gear. But my food supply was canned goods. That's where most of my weight came from. So yeah, pack some good food. A small hygiene kit, number 25, toothbrushes, even freaking deodorant. Okay, you're gonna stink. Alright, just trust me on that. And if you find a water source, go take a dip. 26, identification. Now, a lot of people wonder, and they get upset about carrying ID. Well, here's a scenario for you. Let's say, and God forbid, that a foreign force has made it on American soil, and our U.S. troops are setting up stations, patrols, and they come across you. You better have some ID on you, all right? Or your ass can be sitting in a camp somewhere. Carry ID. 27, it's up to you. We have a small amount of silver, small amount of gold, and small amount of cash that we put in our bug out bags. My wife has some and I have some. Bribing somebody, having the ability to bribing somebody if you need to, is a good idea. And it can also be used as a distraction. Man, have this while someone else is drawing down on them. Okay? I know, weird. I'm a weird guy, alright? And last but not least, number 28, the P38 can opener. I carry it on my keychain. I've got 2 in my backpack. My wife's got 1 on her keychain. If you are carrying canned goods, you want a P38. Those mechanical can openers, I broke too many of them. I have never broke a P38. Alright guys, I know this was a little long video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see y'all later.